Hello. So the objective with this video tutorial, if you will, is to simply show some of the things in Cats and Rats that will make it more easy to learn about the product and what to do. So first of all, you'll need to find Cats and Rats, which you will do by going through these locations. And you'll click on those are my initials, and you'll have to take the newest version. And I use this system where I just add one version number all the time. So let's take the cats analysis first. This was the Tableau video, or this was the Tableau thing that I made first. And basically I tried to have all the dashboards be quite similar when it was possible. So within Tableau, and this depends on how much you know about Tableau, but within Tableau, there's a bunch of different things you need to know. So a brief overview is that I have all these different sheets that I've been using, and the output is simply 6 or 7 dashboards. So I use all the different sheets in order to create dashboards. And you can view the video on how to use these dashboards meant for the different leaders within our CVP area. But basically, I tried to make this as interconnected as possible and as intuitive as possible. So the idea behind everything is that you'll need to first view the VP areas, which is the dashboard that I'm within right now, because the VP areas is the larger overarching area. And so you'll click on whatever VP area that you are actually from, and new graphs will pop up. And so the idea is that these graphs should not pop up before you actually click a VP area. So I guess the first thing I can show is how this is done. And what I did is I simply use, and I call it exclude. So what you'll do is you'll click on whatever I just did, and you'll choose the sheet which is the one you want to do something on. So if you remember, I click on the VP area and something happens. And this sheet is called VP_over because it's the most high level of detail, if you will. So something happens when I click PCD. And this is the function that does it. I only want the source sheet to be VP_over. I want it to be on select. And I want to exclude all various values on some of the sheets. And I choose these 4 sheets. And there's a reason for that. So let's do it again. I click here, and these 2 sheets pop up. But really, beneath this graph, there's 2 additional graphs. So right now, we show the development of full-time employee time expenditure, if you will, in a month basis, right? So this is January, February, and so on. But you could, in this parameter, choose to show it in quarters, years, or whatever you want. So behind this graph, there's these 2 other graphs with quarters and years respectively. And I'll show in a moment how you can make a function. Ja, du har et eller andet. Jeg ved ikke, om du har en... Okay. Ja. Sorry for that disturbance. Okay, but so behind this, there's all these different sheets, which I think is quite useful. But basically, now that we have exclude, these 2 will not be shown unless something is pressed in this graph. And so that's basically that, right? So the next idea that I can explain in kind of simple terms is that I have these buttons on the top, and it's kind of the same principle. So if we go to actions again, you'll see that I have named something push on next. And what this does is it takes this button, which is called next. That's the sheet name. And again, this is the only one, and it's on select, and it says show all values, but the target sheets now are from another dashboard. So when I click that, it will show all values of something that is on another page than the one we're currently on, which will push us to the next page. So as we see, we have VP activity here, and if I click next, we'll be taken to a department level instead. And so the idea is we have these 8 departments now, and we have chosen a VP area previously, and these departments are all within that VP area. So only that particular VP area is showing up now. And that's the beautiful thing about Tableau, right? That you always have filters that are connected in kind of an intuitive way. And I guess I should show how you make filters do that. So if we go back, you have to do it in kind of a roundabout way. So this graph, it's kind of lagging. This graph I have set to use as a filter. So if you click this button, it will be used as a filter, right? And it is currently clicked, if you will. So what I do is, as you can see, this is not clicked, so this is not a filter right now. So you can go to this sheet for this graph, and somewhere down here, you'll find something that makes sense. And I just have this one, right? So the graph that we just saw had the VP areas and the categories and so on. So I know this is the filter that is important. And it's kind of tough to explain. You really have to have the data in your hands to kind of understand it, perhaps. But the idea is this, I click this, and it filters the answers over here. Like now I click something else, and these answers will be different whenever. Yep. And the way you see this is in the sheet for this graph, all the filters. And yeah, this is the one. So what you'll do is you'll take apply to worksheets, and you cannot do it to all the worksheets because they'll create a bug. So you'll click selected worksheets, and you'll choose the ones that make sense. And you'll have to know how this workbook was developed to really know what makes sense. But as you can see, I've chosen a number of them, but not all of them. And I guess to really make you understand why the ones I've chosen make sense, you would need to see this in some kind of way. So the ones I've chosen to apply this filter to is this graph and this one, and the 3 sheets in this spot. And also the same for on a team level, this graph and all the ones below here. Yeah. Okay, so now, okay. It's kind of important to keep in mind how you'll make filters go from one page to another, because that's really the difficult part, right? I have a filter on this page, I click PPP, and I wanted to also connect to this page, and that's essentially how you do it. So a little bit about how this is built up. As you've seen, this is the graph that I initially used as a filter, and it's called VP over. And similarly, you have a department oversheet and a team oversheet. So those are the graphs in top of the sheet of the dashboard, if you will. Then you'll have 9 different under sheets called VP under or department under, team under, year, quarter, and month, because we're using a parameter and showing whatever sheet we want to show. So the idea with that is, if I choose quarter, this graph below here changes to show quarters instead of months, which is, I guess, fine, right? And that's why I needed to create so many sheets. One annoying thing when doing this is, right now I can hover over the bars and I can see something. I can see the tooltips, but if I change it to month, I'm not able to do that. And the reason is that we see month as being the most forward graph right now, but it really isn't. Only the graph most in front is the one that you can actually see or hover over and see the tooltips. So you can only see 1/3 of them if you want, if that makes sense. And I guess I should show the parameters, how you make them. And that's kind of difficult to explain really, but the idea is first that you want to show something specific. And so you see we have some different parameters down here. And you have to look these through, but I've given different values to something displayed as something else, right? So if we go back to this, you'll see that these are the display names, and they correspond to the value 1, 2, and 3. And so what happens and so what happens is we have also a dimension called vis data, which in Danish means show data. Okay, so I guess I should show how to kind of create this parameter. And what you'll have to do is make something here, and I've just called it tidsenhed, which is time unit, I guess. And I'm gonna upload a Word guide instead for how to understand this parameter.